for the world.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Pinklon Thomas is ranked 4th by the WBC, 4th by the WBA. He's a guy that has gone the whole distance with Jerry Coetzee, and it was a very controversial ending to that fight. And perhaps he really did win that fight. At least he won it in his own mind. But we'll see just how good he is when we see him in action tonight against Bruce Grandham. It should be a real good fight coming up, Howard.
I spoke to him a few days ago. He seems very determined, very hungry.
He's determined. We had a great opportunity to speak with him during the weigh-in and before the weigh-in, and Pinklon Thomas tells me there's just absolutely nobody that can do the job on him. But, of course, the opponent is Bruce Grandham, and I asked him to tell us about some of the name fighters that he's had to work with, and he's had a long list of great name fighters that he's gone away with. So let's hear exactly what Bruce Grandham had to say about his opponents.
Well, there's quite a few. Matter of fact, some of the best fighters in the world, I would presume, like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Leon Spinks, Michael Dokes, Trevor Burby, and to name the rest of them as well. You know, I've been around for a while.
When you say name the rest of them, guys like Michael Dokes you've been in with, and I understand that you had some pretty good goes with him in the ring.
Oh, definitely, no question about it. I think I give Michael Dokes all the respect in the world, you know, and I think he give me the same. You know, every guy that I work with, they all have the utmost respect for me. They've told me so. That goes for Tim Witherspoon as well. I trained with him when he fought Greg Page a few months back.
Now, tell me about this. You're the type of guy that was brought over to Europe several times as an American fighter that fought some of the best in sparring sessions, and you went over there and knocked off some good European fighters.
Well, yes, I did. You know, like as everybody knows, anything can happen in a heavyweight fight when two guys get in. If both of them are big, strong guys that can bang, a lot of people have a tendency to put that aside, but you cannot, because I've seen it happen too many times. I think the Tate and Weaver fight tells that. Any guy that can bang is dangerous, and I'm a banger.
Kind of an interesting guy is Bruce Grandham. Have you seen him fight at all?
I seen him sparring in the gym the other day. He looked very determined, looked tough. He should put up a good fight.
Well, there's one thing about Bruce Grandham. He has no fear at all of going against Pinklon Thomas. He thinks that a couple of the fights that he fought over there in Europe, that he was brought in as nothing more than an opponent for some of the fighters, and he has no fear of the fact that he was able to go over there and defeat these guys, and he really hasn't had a good shot at a good fight for over a year. The reason for that, of course, is that the guy is dangerous. He has trained with people like Muhammad Ali and Michael Dokes, so he is a good opponent. But now we want to find out a little bit more about Pinklon Thomas, and I asked him about his strengths and his weaknesses in the ring, and he had some very, very interesting comments. I think you'll find that he's really a gentleman. So on the strength and weakness, here's Pinklon Thomas.
Like Joe Louis.
Pinklon, tell us about you as a fighter or boxer. Your strengths, and if there are any weaknesses, what are you working on?
If there's any weaknesses, I don't know anything about it. I just consider myself the best in the world, and I'm invincible. I feel I'm just invincible, and I started out with a saying a long time ago. I said that I had the fastest hands and the fastest feet, and there was no way I was going to ever be beaten. I mean that from my heart, and Wednesday night you will see.
Well, you haven't been beaten, so far everything you said is 100% the truth. Tell me about this Bruce Grandham you're fighting, a guy you don't know too much about, but a tough fella just the same.
I don't know too much about Bruce Grandham. He's a big guy, walk around like a lumberjack. I don't knock him, you know, but I will knock him Wednesday night in the ring. As a guy outside the ring, he seemed to be a real nice guy, but hey, it's my fight. He's in my way. He's in my way. I'm looking to get by him to fight Gary Coetzee, and then Larry Holmes, and unify with Tim Witherspoon. I want to be the only world champion. I don't believe in that 3 world champion. The public shouldn't believe in it. It's only 1 world champion, and that's the way it should be.
Pinklon, one final question. How do you answer the critics, the sports writers, the boxing writers that say you might be too small? You're a Jimmy Ellis-size champion if you're going to be champion.
Joe Louis was the greatest of all time, and he fought at 198 and 200. I'm 210, 212, and I think guys fight over that as blowed up heavyweights. They should make another division for the super heavyweights, for the guys that fight at that weight. I'm the best in my weight at 210 and 212, 213, 214. I fought at 218, and I've had a lot of power there, but I won't fight there until I have to.
All right, so we're set to go, and let's go to our ring announcer.
Es el centro del ring para el próximo combate de la noche. En ringside pueden ustedes ver al hombre responsable de esta cartelera, del auge del boxeo mundial y de la cartelera del próximo sábado aquí en el Coliseo Roberto Clemente. El responsable de producciones, Don King. Y junto a Don King está también, señoras y señores, junto a Don King está Howard Davis. Howard Davis está trabajando para la narración de la televisión norteamericana y será el rival el próximo sábado aquí en el Coliseo Roberto Clemente del Chapo Rosario. Pelea titular. Vamos rápidamente, amigos, a el siguiente combate, presentando como jueces a los señores Juan T. Vargas y Miguel Donate. El árbitro de este combate lo será Waldemar Smith. Los protagonistas del mismo en esta esquina, la esquina roja de Dallas, el joven mastodonte Bruce "The Hulk" Grandham. En esta otra esquina presentamos de Filadelfia y sin haber sido derrotado, rankeado número 4 entre los pesos completos, pesando 217 libras, Pinklon Thomas. La pelea será a 10 asaltos.
The referee is Waldemar Smith, and he'll call the principals to the center of the ring. This bout is sanctioned by the Puerto Rico Boxing Commission. 10-point must scoring system. The winner of the round gets 10 points, the loser 9 or less. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The fighter must get up following a low blow, or he can be counted out. There's a mandatory 8 count following a knockdown. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round, and we're set to go. This is 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. And wild goes Bruce the Hulk Grandham with the first shot of the fight, trying to take out Pinklon Thomas in a hurry. Now, one thing that's interesting to know about Bruce Grandham is that he's never been in a heavyweight fight, but he hasn't hurt his opponent at one stage. Pinklon Thomas, of course, a much more skilled fighter, has fought his way all the way to being ranked number 4 from the world, and he believes that he should be the next heavyweight champion of the world. You heard him in the opening interview with Howard Davis that he didn't believe in his 3 champions in any division, and I have to agree with him.
Well, you know, I wouldn't disagree with him because he's bigger than I am. Pinklon Thomas got tipped in the first seconds of the first round, this round, with a left hook. Seemed like it started him a little bit. Right now, he's feeling his man out with a jab.
Well, one thing about Bruce Grandham is that he loves to mix it up. He loves to brawl. He comes to fight, but he has a chin that's suspect. He has been down several times in his career. He fought John Tate, as you recall, a very controversial fight, but he was down twice in the first round. He got up, he ended up cutting Tate, and then later in the third round, the fight was stopped, and he thought he had won the fight. And they had given the somehow to stop the fight because he was cut too, and he didn't like that because the type of guy that's not a crybaby. He said, hey, that's part of the boxing game. You win some, you lose some. So he just keeps going the best he can. Looks like Pinklon's got a pretty good bruise there next to his right cheekbone where he might have been tagged there in that opening flurry by Bruce the Hulk, as he's called, Grandham.
Oh, from that left hook that I was just mentioned. He got clipped in the first round. It seemed like it hurt him a little bit.
The way Grandham holds that left hand down, he's wide open for the right hand. Unless you have extremely quick hands like Muhammad Ali type guy, it's very, very difficult. Or Howard Davis Jr.
Right. I thought this. I was waiting for you to mention.
I wanted to get that in for you, but for heavyweights, I don't like to see them carry that left hand that low. You see, right now Thomas had his hand down there, so he clips again by the left hook, and Grandham is just teeing off with shots, wild shots.
I don't think he can keep that up for 10 rounds, though. Punching like that.
I don't see any way he can keep it up for 10 rounds, but for him, he's 30 years of age. He's really not recognized as one of the key big heavyweights, and for him to like a bolt out of the blue, and as we've seen so many strange things happen in the heavyweight division, you know, that's his hope to get instant recognition. So he's really trying to go for a first or second round knockout. But right now, he's tagged by Pinklon Thomas, and he's in a lot of trouble.
Pinklon Thomas scored with a right hand, left hook, right on the button.
Nice combination. You see the legs a little bit wobbly. A real turnaround here in round one.
On TV, proudly presents Oscar.
Go ahead, Howard.
Bruce still doesn't have his mouthpiece in his mouth.
All right, he's coming back out. Some places they make you go back and get your mouthpiece. Has he got it back in?
Yes, he just got it back in.
All right, they finally got him his mouthpiece, and now the referee says, okay, let's get this thing going. So right at the tail end of round number one, Pinklon Thomas came on strong, set up Grandham with a real good combination, finished it up with a left hand, and now it looks like the Pinklon Thomas we know, the one that did such a fine job, and James Quick Tillis and Alfonso Radcliffe, the guy that wants to be heavyweight champion of the world, is showing his wares now. Thomas is looking like a champion right here as he nails the big man, Bruce Grandham. And as Howard Davis Jr. pointed out in round one, a guy just can't, at this size, tee off with shots like this and last very long. We pointed out the factor that Grandham sure is his only shot to try and land a roundhouse shot like that, but that doesn't have the type of power, Howard.
No, what he's actually trying to do is trying to get lucky. And what you have to do is set your man up. 4 punches. He's not setting up. He's just throwing.
Well, you can see clearly that Pinklon Thomas has the skills. He's got nice hand speed. He doesn't have great foot movement from what I've seen so far, but he's really trying to get himself in position and get some strength behind that jab and looking for the opportunity to drop that right hand on Bruce Grandham.
What Pinklon Thomas is doing right now is using his jab, and he's trying to get in the right hand.
Grandham from Dallas, Texas. Pinklon Thomas from Philadelphia. Again, using the left hand, trying to take away the vision from the left eye of Bruce Grandham and then drop that right hand in there. Thomas is almost careless with his left down so low. He does have nice speed, but that leaves him open for the right hand. I'd much rather see him keep it up there to block those wild right hands coming in from Bruce Grandham. Nice shot that time. Nice crisp jab. These are like the punches that Larry Holmes throws that are jabs. You know, you call them jabs, but they're really straight left hands. They have a lot of
very powerful left hands.
That time the left hook rocks him back again. Pinklon Thomas is turning things around his way, and you see that he's flicking up through. When that wild right hand comes, he's able to slip it. He ducks underneath it. He was caught that opening round with an opening flurry, but certainly had the ability, wherewithal, the ring sense to be able to hold off Bruce Grandham. I'm impressed with the ability and the quickness and the slickness of Pinklon Thomas thus far in round number two.
You know, for a big man weighing 210 and 212, he's pretty quick. I just noticed that. I never knew how fast he was.
Thomas, you know, I questioned him in the interview about being the Jimmy Ellis-sized guy, but he's fighting tonight at 217 pounds, Howard, and that's a good-sized man for the heavyweight division to be in great shape, and he has the size to fight the big heavyweights at 217.
Well, I only weigh 135 pounds. Anything 5 pounds over me is big.
Okay, we'll go over to the corner of Bruce Grandham. We'll tell you a little bit more about him. We mentioned that he fought John Tate in what was a very controversial fight, where he was down twice in the first round on that one. He got up to cut Tate, and the fight was stopped in the third round when he was cut. And as he told me in his sparring sessions with Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, Michael Dokes, he just got the world of experience, and he just wants a shot to keep fighting some of these big heavyweights, hoping that he'll get lucky.
You're doing a good job, though, Graham. Come on, be the
I'll show you some of the action now early in the second round. Watch Pinklon going after him, setting him up downstairs, drops the right hand in, pushes him back with the left, works back downstairs with the left hand, right back up and drops the right hand again. And that's the type of movement, combinations of punches that you see the great champions have.
Not only that, he's moving from side to side, throwing shots.
to the belly. Okay, you got him.
Can pick up where he left off, and he drops a real good left jab in the forehead. And now, this is a nice foot movement that I like to see in a heavyweight.
They're like a ballet dancer.
Ali he was perhaps the best. Barry Holmes was great, and especially earlier in his career, had great foot speed for heavyweight. And now Pinklon Thomas is showing some of it. Right hand followed up by the left, another good right hand. And now Thomas really teeing off on Bruce Grandham.
I'm surprised he's still standing up. He's tough.
Well, he's getting through the gloves of Grandham, but he hasn't landed that real flush shot. He got a pretty good left hook on him in the second round, but he really hasn't dropped that right hand yet. I'll cut him flush with a good, wild left hook.
You notice that Bruce is not throwing too many punches in.
No, he's not throwing too many punches at all now.
I think he's really... Oh, good right hand.
Just as we say it, he lands the right hand.
I have a habit of sometimes talking too soon.
It happens invariably when you call a lot of fights, Howard, that you'll say something, the guy's not doing this and that, and it seems like you're cueing him to do it.
Maybe he heard me.
But you see, Thomas is still fully aware. He's got the nice leg movement, the nice balance, where, on the other hand, Grandham, his legs are getting fouled up and tied up and crossed, and he doesn't have the real good elasticity and bounce in the knees. That's the first thing I look to when I look for fatigue, and I'm seeing it now already, and we're only in the third round. Of course, this heat and humidity here in San Juan takes a much bigger toll on these big guys than it does in the smaller fighters that we saw earlier.
It sure does. Not only that, Pinklon Thomas has good lateral movement. Bruce doesn't have the same ability. Pinklon Thomas does. But he's very tough. And he's hanging in there. I'm surprised he's lasting this long.
Thomas is taking his shots. He doesn't want to get too careless with a big guy like Grandham, who really is satisfied to unleash maybe 2 or 3 rounds of shots like that one just landed. He's satisfied to do that right now at this stage in the fight.
I think Pinklon Thomas has to keep his left hand up.
Yes, he does. Inside of 30 seconds remaining in round 3.
You know, with these big guys, you never know. One blow could be it.
Get to know Pinklon Thomas. There's the mouthpiece dropping out of Bruce Grandham's mouth again. Very dangerous situation when you lose that. It really can lead to a real heavier shot if you tank right in the jaw than if you do have that mouthpiece in.
Definitely. It can lead to a broken jaw.
This is Donald Quinnell.
Here we go, round 4 from the Roberto Clemente Coliseum in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm Bob Sheridan, along with Howard Davis Jr. on the Don King Sports and Entertainment Network. Hope that you're enjoying the fight so far. Pinklon Thomas taking a shot by Bruce the Hulk Grandham. Grandham trying to really outpower Thomas right now, and Thomas, you see the look in his eyes that he just wants to hold his man off. He's not losing any of his composure, and this is what's so necessary when a guy tries to outpower you in the early slugging.
Right, I was trying to tell you before that Pinklon Thomas should carry his left hand just a little bit higher. Because Bruce Grandham has a good right hand puncher. It's a little wild, too.
He's very wild with it, and I think that Pinklon definitely, if he got that left hand up there, he could pick it off much easier. He likes to tee off with that left hand from right down around his hip. He does it constantly. You folks can see exactly what we're talking about as he goes to a right-hand lead there. You see the left hand down by his belt, down around his midsection there, and he kind of comes up with the uppercut, which doesn't have, from that hip, it really doesn't have the power that it would have if he was coming straight out with the left jab.
No, he doesn't. He has to keep his jab going and feint him. So this guy won't throw the overhand right and catch him with pot shots like that.
Again, the heat is definitely a factor here. Halfway through round number 4. This is scheduled, of course, for 10 in the heavyweight division. Pinklon Thomas ranked 4th in the world by the WBC and the WBA and Ring Magazine. So he's in all the rankings, and you can be sure that Don King will be putting him together with some of the big heavyweights. When I say the big ones, I'm talking about one of the 3 champions very shortly. Thomas is in that area where he needs to get a title shot pretty soon. But in his way is Bruce Grandham, who's putting up a pretty fair show here tonight. A guy that's looking to try and get lucky with a wild right hand. And I've seen stranger things happen in the heavyweight division.
Definitely. I mean, you have 2 big guys in there. You never know what's going to happen. Especially if both of them are punchers. Pinklon Thomas is using his jab. very well. Here's one of the hardest jabs I've ever seen. Like a right hand.
I'm impressed with Pinklon Thomas's patience with his right hand. He's setting things up with the left hand. He's trying to wear his man down, and he's not getting careless throwing wild right hands to try and take his man out in any hurry. I think he's confident that he can control this fight, control his man. He shows no fear of him, and when Bruce Grandham comes on with these wild flurries, just like that particular right hand, he was able to flip it, and he really is not worried, but he does have the respect.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. He's wearing him down with the jab.
He's doing a fine job with the jab. That's the end of round 4. Another good round for Pinklon Thomas. I have to see if, as we look at Pinklon Thomas in his corner, Bill Present, the excellent cut man, corner man, voted the unsung hero in the boxing world this year by the Boxing Writers Association, working on on Pinklon Thomas. Interesting thing about Bill Present, you see the man again working on Thomas. He worked with 2 heavyweight champions in the same night in the Crown Affair when he worked with Larry Holmes and Michael Dokes, 2 separate heavyweight title fights. He's in the Hall of Fame for that.
Wow, unbelievable.
All right, now watch these shots here. Pinklon Thomas gets caught, Howard. There's one of them, a right hand there, and another one there. 2 right-hand shots. Now, while those shots looked like they were a lot heavier when you watch them on television, as you saw the movement of the head of Pinklon Thomas, a lot of the power of the blow was taken away. Even though the spray on the head went up, you could still see that he was feigning with the punch.
Fight's over with.
All right, it looks like they have decided to stop the fight. Pinklon Thomas is getting the hand held above his head. Bruce the Hulk Grandham cannot answer the bell for the 5th round, so it'll be scored as a 5th round TKO. He just could not come out. It had to be the fatigue factor, the heat down here. Kind of a lackluster ending to what was looking to be a pretty good fight, but he just couldn't come out. I would like to find out exactly what happened, and perhaps we'll have the opportunity to find out a little bit more about why he couldn't come out, but the fatigue or something of that must have set in to the point where he just couldn't go anymore.
Well, it's just as well, Bob, because look.
We really will talk, I'm sure, to Pinklon Thomas, and we'd like to have the opportunity to talk to Grandham to find out what happened. For the decision, and we will have an opportunity to talk to one and maybe both of the fighters to find out exactly what happened. But let's go up to the ring announcer and get the decision.
Señoras y señores, la decisión de este combate se anota en el 5º asalto por nocaut a favor de Pinklon Thomas, que permanece invicto.
It's been a beautiful week here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We've stayed at the DuPont Plaza Hotel, and it's been really a great time. All of the fighters have enjoyed it. We certainly have enjoyed it as much. And we want to give you folks the opportunity back home to see exactly what the world is like at the DuPont Plaza Hotel and Casino here in San Juan.